Welcome to another edition of 42 Straight Years In, Volume 2, Part 40. I don't have a crackhead update. I only went out for a couple of minutes and came back inside. You got to kind of search for them in this area. Anyway, moving right along. Last night we had a small fire up on the fourth floor. I only filmed one fire truck on this side. The rest of them was over on Washington Street. They had a hook and ladder on the other side of the street. I still haven't found out what the fire was about. But it was one lady. She was yeah, I see the lights blinking. I don't know what the hell is causing that. I got LED. I don't know, I ain't got the camera set right. This is going to be a rather short video. Hell, I haven't had no sleep at all. What I miss out on crackheads in this area, the prostitutes take the place of them. This lady was saying last night, with all the drama going on, she said, I'm doing deals right now. $60 car deals. $100 for an hour. And she don't give up. She said, I got a $10,000 mink coat in my apartment, and I sure hope it don't catch on fire because I'm going to sue them. I got insurance. She got rental insurance. That lady ain't got no $10,000 mink coat. She just lying. She trying to get it how she live. I'm gonna skip my boy Lion Willie because I'm gonna keep this video rather short. Tim Snow over at Texas Prison Story, he did a video yesterday on Dennis Wayne Hope, known as the Running Man, the guy who escaped from the Darrington unit. This guy started out with a 25-year sentence. He escaped and pulled all those string of robberies and carjacking and thefts. Now he's got 80 years. You know, if prison was so horrible to you, you would have died by suicide by cops. You wouldn't have came back if it was that horrible. You surrendered. Now look where you at. You definitely gonna be locked up a long time. And getting out of administrative segregation in Texas is extremely hard. These are the rules. These are the reasons they give you to remain in ADSEG. Continuing threat to inmates or staff. Assaultive. Current escape risk. Member of a disruptive group. You're going to fall into one of those four categories. If you was the disruptive group, the gang members, they don't even call those guys a classification no more. They only got one route out of ADSEG. And they got an X out of their gang. That's the only way they'll ever be released. In ADSEG, in Texas, every 6 months, they give you something. I mean, good time earning status. The highest you can go in administrative segregation is SAT 4. That means state approved trusted 4. That's the good time earning status you'll be in. That's the highest you can go if you're in ADSEG. And administrative segregation hearing, it only lasts no more than 5 minutes, if that long. The classification committee gonna consist of a ranking officer, a major on up, sometimes the chaplain, or sometimes the principal from the schoolhouse, and a classification officer from the main prison in Huntsville. That'll constitute the classification committee. And you'll be handcuffed, so you don't even sign the paper. They sign it for you. They write on it, inmate in handcuffs. And the hearing lasts by maybe 5 minutes if you be in there that long. And this guy's an escape risk. There's no classification committee gonna recommend that he be released. A lot of people in prison in the criminal justice system has made a career out in that field. They know if they released him and he pulled any type of stunt, it's gonna reflect back on the ones who released him. And they just lost their job. So his chances of getting out of AHC is slim to none. He has one avenue. He got one card he could play. And that's the Interstate Transfer Compact. All the states join in this compact where they can swap inmates out with other state prisoners. Or he can be transferred to a federal prison. That'll be his only avenue out of AHC. Occasionally, Texas do send inmates to other jurisdictions. But he still will be housed in a maximum security facility. You know, since the Polunsky unit came online, no inmate has never escaped from that prison. And he's housed with the death row guys in 12 building. It has electric fence on the top of 12 building. It has a double electric fence around 12 building. Now that's just 12 building. It's electrified. If you get past that fence, you still got 2 more fence for the main prison. You got to get over, through, under, however you're going to do it. And they got a roving patrol 24 hours a day that rides around the perimeter. And Polunsky unit is a little bit different. They got the 3 main gun towers. Then they constructed another gun tower right there by 12 building. So they can watch death row. Be no escaping out of death row. When you enter death row, they got a chair that x-rays you. You sit in this chair and they look all in your body cavities. So you can't hide anything. The security is strict. And the guys who work back there, every time you enter one of those cell blocks, you must get out of all of your clothes, buck naked. They search you, you put your clothes back on, and you're allowed to enter the cell block. Coming out, you will do the same thing. You get buck naked, they'll search you, and you can move on to another cell block if you work back there. But I've seen a lot of guys increase their punishment. Start out with a 5-year sentence, end up with life. Like me, myself, I went on 2 furloughs when they had the furlough program. And that's with a life sentence. The first time I went, we only stayed out 5 days. Your family got to pick you up at the prison and bring you back. Then they increased it to 7 days. Now, I didn't know, God, even my mom told me, she said, man, I don't know how you would go back there. No way I would go back to that prison. But if I would have pulled any stunt, it was going to reflect back on my mother. And I wasn't fixing to get her locked up. So I had to take my licks and go on back. I thought about it, but then I'm going to put her in a trap. And that's the only support I got is her. That's it. You know, in later years, that was beneficial to me. I had several prison jobs while I worked outside of the fence. And I was not approved by classification to have that job. You got to go through 2 classification committees in order to be an outside trustee. You got to go through the prison unit classification and then another classification committee that comes from Huntsville. You got to go through both those committees, and they got to recommend you have a job outside the fence as a dog boy or tractor driver or whatever. But a warden would take a chance on me. I've been on furlough twice and came back. So he would look at it, hey, this guy's a perfect candidate for this job. If he wanted to run off, he would have ran off then. He was already at home. All you got to do is don't come back. You know, I got good benefits from it later on down the line. I had some hell of a good prison job. I always kept myself in a position to get one of those good-ass jobs because you got access to the female guards. Most of the prison jobs I had, I work alone. I'd be unescorted by no correctional officer. I could go and come as I please. You know, an officer could even turn me down and say, hey, I need to go here. They'll write me a pass, I go. Whether I'm bullshitting or not, I can go. And that helped me on my smuggling operation and helped me with the female guards. Because I can get the female guard and talk to her one-on-one without any other inmates around. Anything is possible. But from what I've seen with administrative segregation, it's extremely hard to get out of EdSeg in Texas. Every term is indefinite. I don't care what you go in there for. It is an indefinite term. They used to interview you every 3 months. Now they increase it to every 6 months. They used to have a status called A status, B status. A status means you be handcuffed. B status, you can walk to the shower or walk to a parole hearing or visitation, escorted by 2 guards, but with no handcuffs. They got rid of that status. Everybody's back in handcuffs. Everybody wear handcuffs. Anytime you leave that cell, you will be handcuffed. And, 80% of the guys in prison is from poverty. Nothing but poor people. I'd always got on my nerves. I look at how they just turn on each other. Gang members, your chance of being stabbed by another gang member is slim to none. Majority of the time, you'll be stabbed up by your own gang members. And all they got to do is be one guy in that gang who dislike you. He got a little more power than you do. He whisper in their ear, they turn on you. I see them do it all the time. You see some poor guy running, they stabbing him up. Sometimes when I work in the warden's office, when they bring them up there, gang intelligence call them out to talk to them, they look so pitiful. They ain't got nobody to turn to now. They got to send them, they got to get them off the unit. They can't stay at that prison no more. And he know it's easy to find out what prison another inmate is assigned to, especially at one of the prison units where they got a lot of cell phones. They can easily pull you up and tell them right where you're going. They try to throw them off. If you go into a prison in West Texas, the transfer paper will just say Huntsville. But when you get to Hunt, you say Huntsville reassignment. When you get to the Huntsville unit, which is the Walls unit, they know exactly where you're going. The next morning, they'll have you assigned to another prison. You may be going to somewhere in West Texas all the way up to Telford unit in New Boston. They'll find a spot for you. But if you got a large sentence, you'll be going to another maximum security prison. Almost guaranteed it's going to be some of those gang members already at that prison. So I've seen a lot of guys put themselves in a wreck by joining a prison gang. They tell them all that shit about other gang members going to attack. It's rare that happens. Majority of the time, it's from within your own gang. Enough ranting and raving. Y'all keep your shanks ready. And I hope these fools over here don't set the whole building on fire. We might have to ride on them. But we might have to get some water hose. The hell with that shank. Last night we needed water hose. Anyway, I appreciate the subscribers who wish me well and a shout out to everyone. There's so many of y'all, can't call your names. There's so many. Like and subscribe, and I thank you for watching. Y'all have a good day.